Okay, boxing fans, right now I'm talking about Tony Bellew versus Isaac Chilemba. I'm going to start with the WBC silver champion, who is Tony Bellew. Basically, we do know he is a decent fighter. He is 19 wins, 12 of which by way of knockout, to only a single defeat on points. But that fight was against Nathan Cleverly, and a lot of people, including myself, who had money on Nathan Cleverly winning that fight, thought that Nathan Cleverly didn't deserve to win that fight. In fact, I thought if it was a draw, I think everyone could have been pleased with a draw at the end of the day. That's just my opinion. If you disagree with that, that's fine. If you agree with that or think Bellew could have won, that's also fine. I'm not going to argue with you. Looking through Tony Bellew's got, just going to start with Bellew. He's got a reputation of being a big puncher. He's got a few decisions on his career, but he's also got a lot of knockouts on his career, a lot of cold knockouts too. He's stopped the likes of Danny McIntosh very well, in which McIntosh, who is a come forward, likes to fight with you type fighter, couldn't stand with him and was dropped numerous times before being knocked out. Edson Miranda, another big puncher, not in his prime, couldn't land on Tony Bellew to the point where we thought he would be able to, and then Tony Bellew broke him down to the body later on and made him quit. Made Edson Miranda quit. You got to say that. So, and then in his last fight, he didn't look very good. It was a very bad fight. Chilemba will take a lot of confidence from that. However, there was power in that fight. You could see the power of Tony Bellew dropping his opponent in rounds 1 and 3. So at the end of the day, I've got to point this out. I've not actually ever won any money on Tony Bellew. He's one of those fighters that whenever I bet on him, it goes either the opposite way or he wins. He wins just before I get paid or after I get paid. Put it like that. So I'm gonna say I'll leave that to later. Looking at Isaac Chilemba, I don't actually know too much about the guy. I've tried to look at some video of him, but there's not much going around. He has won 20 fights, lost 1 and drawn 1. His only loss came to a guy called Wilberforce Shishepo. He's a bit of a journeyman in South Africa. Maybe, and he did avenge. And I'll say that, and he did avenge that loss. Okay, but it was a points loss, so he can be outboxed. He's called a big puncher. However, looking at his record, a lot of his fights have gone the distance against fringe contenders. So I've got to point that out. He's not as big a puncher as people think, and he's been dropped quite a few times too. Tony Bellew will take confidence from that. However, Chilemba, if I look at him, he had a very good fight with Thomas Luthusian that ended in a draw. He probably deserved to win that fight. That was at super middleweight. This fight is at light heavyweight. Tony Bellew is, I think he's a cruiserweight draining down. Isaac Chilemba is a light heavyweight. A lot of the light heavyweights who have stood with Tony Bellew have not really saw the distance. The way these two styles are going to work out is they're pretty much going to hit each other head on. The only difference is I think Tony Bellew will try and box a bit as well. So I'm going to say Tony Bellew will win this fight by late stoppage.